Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and I hope you are. Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Hope you are okay on that side of the screen. And today, to share with you after 6 months why the ZEPP is still my favorite smartwatch. And we are back. So before I start talking about the ZEPP, which is my favorite smartwatch, and it's not 6 months, it has passed 7 months. I started to use back in December 2020, and we are in the end of July 2021. And it has been a great experience that I will try to share with you as fast as possible, but expect that this video will not be as short because I want to give you as much details as possible, and I want to show you all the features of this smartwatch, which is, in my opinion, a great smartwatch. One of the things that I wanted to share, I've got right here, it's the GTR Generation 1, which was my favorite smartwatch for a long time. And one thing that I would like to share with you guys is that today, 2021, end of July, I still believe that this is a great smartwatch. And if we look at this one, and the GTR 2, which I love this smartwatch, it has improved a lot of things, it has a different design, but the key to my favorite smartwatch is exactly the design. One thing that these three smartwatches have more or less in common is the kind of technology. So all of them are more or less on par, but in terms of build quality, in terms of design, in terms of style, in terms of what I love in a smartwatch, to me, the ZEPP makes all the difference. Now, I will leave a link down below so that you guys can check out a lot of specifications, some things that I will not mention, prices and so on and so forth. And talking about prices, if you are looking for a classic smartwatch with technology of 2021, and if you think, okay, ZEPP probably is a step above of what I want to spend today, 2021, I still believe that this, in terms of a classic smartwatch, is a great option on a more budget friendly than the ZEPP. But if you want the best of the best at this moment, at my knowledge, then the ZEPP will make you very, very happy. Now, one thing that you might notice as well is that after 6-7 months, the only thing that it's a bit washed up is the band, but I can use bands from the ZEPP or can use from the GTR models. So if you have your smartwatch already and you are looking for it, if you search for GTR smart bands, you'll find a lot of them, and we can use, for example, these colors right over here, and bam. Now, one thing that I would like to mention is that why is it like this? Because I do sports, I sweat, I go to the beach, swimming pool, and so on and so forth. So after 7 months, it's to expect to have some wearable. But if we look at the watch itself, look at this. Just awesome, brand new, looks like it was opened from the case today. Why? Because the design is really nice. As I said, it's a classic, but it has a titanium alloy, so it's very light but very resistant, and the watch is completely fine, while the band, of course, has some wear and tear. Well, still resistant, but the color is not the exact color, so probably it's time for me to replace with one of these black, brown, or order a new one. Now, in terms of the screen, and I want to show you right over here, it's a AMOLED screen with 1.39 inches display with a resolution of 454 by 454, and let me just change this to automatic, and we will put back on manual. As you could see, it reduced the brightness. Now the resolution, as I said, is 454 by 454, and it has 326 pixels per inch in terms of the quality. So as you can see, really nice. And in terms of brightness, I did change right now, but we can put it back in manual mode and you will see that, bam, here it is, really glossy. And this is very important. We are talking about more than 500 nits, which for a smartwatch is just great. And if you ask me, hey Robert, how it is it outside? Because in here, yeah, it's a controlled environment. And the thing is that you can be on a sunny place and you will have no issues at all. Even on the automatic, which it will ramp up the brightness and you will just be fine looking at it. If you are doing any kind of sports, kite surf or wakeboard, which is something that I also do, but I didn't took any footage of it, but biking, running and so on, so jogging, doesn't matter, and you will be just fine looking at it. Now before we move on, regarding the design, is just personal taste, because the kind of clothes that I use on my daily basis is a suit, and I do believe that the GTR Generation 1 and the ZEPP are the ones that fit like a glove on that kind of clothes. Of course, if you ask me, okay Robert, so when you dress your suit off and you dress something like that right now, which is nothing classic, does the watch look bad? It doesn't. The watch looks awesome. So it has this kind of feeling, and sorry about the audio, that I can use it as a classic person, which I am, but when I get non-classic, it just looks awesome. Just looks like a watch, but it's smart. Now I will talk about my experience with sport, GPS and battery and so on and so forth, but first of all I want to show you the watch as best as I can right over here. Now in terms of the watch faces, we have a lot to choose from, and tomorrow I will, or after tomorrow, a couple of days, I will share with you the app so that you guys can have a look at everything that we can do with the app, and you will see a lot of watch faces right over there. But right over here I can just press the screen and it will give me the option. These are two of my favorites, this one and this one, really cool. The white one is really nice as well, depending on the clothes that we have. Now we have more designs. This one is nice as well, digital, but to mention that there are a lot that we can store here on the watch, on the memory. On the GTR Generation 1, for example, we could only have 3, and then we have to download when we want it, and it would replace one of those 3. But in here, no, you can put, I haven't counted, but at least 20 or 30 without any issues at all. One other thing that we can do is, for example, when we see this pencil right over here, we can press it and then we can customize. So instead of heartbeat, we can put the humidity or weather or temperature or whatnot, and we can customize the way that we want. Here we can put our heart rate or the weather, or in this particular case just the weather or the heart rate, but basically we can change. And there are a few, I don't know how many I've got. This one has 3 areas that we can change, so there we go. And yeah, 3 areas. So okay, so as you can see, also we receive notifications. So notifications are present right over here, and of course if I miss a notification I can just go here and then just check out and see the notifications that I received. For example, my swimming pool cleaner said that turned on at this time, and so on and so forth. So just great. Now one thing that I will need to do is, because I just finished recording my Portuguese video and the watch is in Portuguese, and I want to change that to English because it will be easier for you. Okay, so just changed to English. It was on my native language, so right now it's a bit easier to show you. And let's change the watch face to my favorite one, which is this one right over here. Now what I wanted to show you first, we already seen the notifications right over here, and if we go to the okay, down, I was doing left. If we go to left, we will have some shortcuts. If I have alarms, the weather that I can check out, the sunrise and sunset and so on and so forth. So we have these options right over here in terms of shortcuts: the personal activity indicator, heart rate, and activity goals, and the SP2. So this is one of the ways that we can navigate. If I go to the top, I also have some options: the lantern, which can be useful, and it will light up in a dark environment. It will light up and help to see something that is otherwise dark. So I can just shut it off. Here is the brightness that we have seen, automatic or manual control of the brightness. I'm going to leave like this so that you can see a little bit better. And then I've got the non-disturb or do not disturb. If I want a smart do not disturb, it will detect my heart rate if I'm awake or not, and it will prevent notifications or not. And then we have the time, which I can select the time, in this particular case 8 o'clock in the evening to 8 o'clock in the morning, or enable do not disturb manually. At this moment I'm going to disable it, and if we receive more notifications, then no issues at all. Now here is the battery save mode, which I'm not going to turn. This is to lock the watch if we are doing an activity that you think that you might do something that you don't want. And then we have the, and this is going to make a noise on my phone if I press right over here. Yeah, I had the volume down, but here it is. So I can just press it and it will let me know where I left my phone. Of course, it has to be in range of the Bluetooth. And we also have the tether mode that will hide notifications and will not show us everything on screen. This is something that I don't really use. And then we have the always on screen, which will give us roughly 20 to 30 minutes with the screen always on. So if I'm doing an activity that I want to keep it like so, then I just need to activate this. Of course, it will drain the battery a little bit. So these are the menus of top, left, and bottom. Now if I scroll to the right, I will have my personal activity indicator, which I can check the details. By the way, this is really cool. We need to have, well, we should have 100 or above per week. This will measure our activity on 7 days average. So I've got 244 today. It's not the highest that I've had, but not bad at all if we are above 100. So here we have some details of today: how many minutes, low, medium, and high. This was my jogging session at the morning, and if I press here, it will give me the details of the personal activity indicator, which will not bother you right now. So this is one of the menus. Then our activities, our goals, our heart rate, which I've got activated to measure all the time. And then we have the weather right over here with some details, and next we have the music, but we can, so I just have one song right over there and you can see it here. We can change the soundtrack on this. I'm using Spotify. We can change also the volume. I will not, because I will get a copyright strike. But one of the things that I would like to share is if I go to this shortcut, which is my exercises, and put here exercise and go, one of the things that it's really cool on the watch is that if I scroll right, I can just control the music, and this is really cool. Sometimes there are smartwatches that will not allow me to control the music when I'm jogging or doing any sports, and here we have this shortcut, which is just great, and we can control the music while we are doing our jogging session, which I will just finish up right now. So that is covered, and we can remove the music out of here. We were on music, and then we have once again the shortcuts that we just slide to the left. Now there are two more things that I want to show you. One is this shortcut, which I can change to anything else, but for me, when I leave my house, I just press it, select the spot that I'm going to use, and I can use the wheel or I can use my finger depending on what I want. It has all these, but I can customize. I can edit the list of the spots that I want. For me, I jog, I biking, swim on the swimming pool, and also on the sea, and wakeboard and kitesurf and things like that. But basically jogging is what I do most of the time. So this will be the first one that I've got right over here: outdoor running, and of course treadmill as well. but just to show you that I can select and then wait for the GPS, which we will talk in just a few moments, and that is it. Now the other button is this one right over here, which will take me to things that we already seen: the personal activity indicator, the heart rate we have seen, SpO2, which is the levels of oxygen in our blood. Is something that I don't really use, but if you find that it's something useful to you, then great. Then we have the workout, which was the menu that we just saw today, or right before. And then we have the activities. Now the activities is cool because it shows me on the watch, without having to open the app, the activities that I've done lately or recently. And as you can see, one of the activities that I want to show you in the GPS is this one that I've done on a Friday, 16 kilometers, and it will show me a lot of details right on a watch without having the need to go to the app. So as you can see, pace diagrams, heart rate, and the cadence of our pace, the stride length, altitude, and a lot. So as you can see, a lot of information on a watch regarding the activities. Stress level, I don't really use it, and honestly, although I do believe that it will have some kind of effect and it is smart enough to detect, it's something that I not even know when I'm stressed or not. So a device measuring our stress level might be a bit stressful, at least to me. So it's here the option. If you want to use it, go for it. To me, there are a lot more important things to use than the stress level, but it's great to find it right over here. Now the activity goal, we can select and then edit whether we have seen music, we have seen alarms. It's just so that we can select a few, edit a few, and add or remove alarms. Events, I don't have none at this moment, so it's empty. Widgets, we have a few right over here: the compass, the barometric altimeter, timer, the countdown. One of the ones that I use more is the timer, where I can time my kid doing something. Sometimes they ask, hey dad, can you time how much time do I take to go from the towel to the water and come back? So this is one of the ones that I use, but we are not going to use right now. And the find mobile, but we have the other shortcut that it's easy. Now in terms of settings, we have the watch face that we have seen, display and brightness we have seen, vibration, we have an option to remove or to put the vibration. I always use it because I do find it nice. I'm doing something and I get a notification, it vibrates, I just look at it, doesn't matter, so I just forget it. Or if it's something important, then I grab my phone and make a phone call or reply to an email or something like that. So I always use the vibration right over here. Then we have user preferences right over here, where we can customize the buttons, what shortcuts we want, workout detection. Sometimes, and this is useful, if you want to go work out and don't worry about it, it will detect your heart rate and go. Usually I start manually so that I can start exactly where my phone starts and other devices. But one thing that I notice is when I finish the workout, my heart rate is still elevated. I put it on stop, and the watch a few seconds later will ask me, hey, are you working out? And if I don't do anything, it will measure. But if I say no, just ignore, it will say to me, okay, for 1 hour I will ignore the automatic detection of spots, which is great. It's really smart, and these things are really nice. And basically I think I've covered everything on a watch. Yeah, everything we have here. The only thing that we have system, but here we can shut down, factory reset, reboot, and so on and so forth. A few more things that I want to share with you is GPS, the sleeping detection, battery mode, and the heart rate as well. Now, in terms of GPS, one of the things that I want to share with you is that it's not perfect, but in my opinion I cannot criticize, because the best device that I've got to measure GPS is my iPhone 11 Pro. So I will share with you the result that I get on my iPhone 11 Pro and on the ZEPP, and then you make your judge. Now I'm going to open a run of 16 kilometers right over here. This is the ZEPP app that you are watching right now. And to me, this is more than enough. I just look at the map and yeah, I can see my circuit, I can see the information, 16.42 kilometers and whatnot. All the information that we have seen already on the watch here is a little bit better. Now I can go to zoom in, and there are a few things that I will notice that, like over here, I did not run on top of the houses. There are a few details. Most is accurate, but then there are a few errors here and there. This is one of those. I did not went through there, I did not went through here on top of the houses and so on. So there are quite a few that might say, okay Robert, the GPS is not accurate enough. But one thing that I want to, and let's just go to an area where I did go to the beach, yeah, right over here. These are stairs, so this is normal, but here it was not bad at all. It did quite a good job. Now if I compare to my iPhone, and here we are, this is the sports tracker app that I use on the iPhone, we will see that the result is not that better. And it should be, because the iPhone should have more accurate GPS. As you can see right over here, I did not went through the water right over there. I'm sure of that. I was there. So as you can see, there are some areas that obviously I did not run on top of the trees. So on top of the houses or that swimming pool, I didn't go there on top of these houses. So in conclusion, what I can say is that if you are like myself, that the big picture doesn't matter if it's the iPhone or if it's the ZEPP watch, one of these, if this kind of error is okay to you like it is to me, then awesome. If you want more detail, then I don't know, I haven't had a device that measured better than this, so I cannot criticize. My feedback here is just straightforward, that if you are really picky, then you will find these situations, and I don't want you to, hey Robert, you told me that the GPS was fine. It is fine to me, but with this level of mistake that the GPS does, like the iPhone 11 Pro does, but this is just fine to me. It measures well the distance. It doesn't do 3 or 4 more kilometers than I did, and that is very important. Okay, if I zoom really in like I did with you guys, then we will see a few mistakes, but other than that, awesome. Now, heart rate. As you guys know, I do use a chest strap, which is the thing that I found so far to be more reliable when I compare to the ZEPP, like the smartwatches that we have used. The ZEPP will give us a little bit higher than what I get on my chest strap, which is something that it's not completely bad, because if you are not used to listen to your body and you are starting doing activities, then it's not bad to have something that says, okay, you are 170 beats per minute while you are on 160, so in yours you are on the safe side, and that it's not bad. Once you get used to the exercise, then I do believe that although you are listening or watching to 170, you'll say, no, this is not 170, I'm not feeling it. And if you measure with other tool, then there will be. But this is the only thing about 5 to 10 bits per minute above what we actually have, and it's not what we actually have. The chest strap is accurate, but not 100%. So the best thing is to feel our body. Now, on more relaxed situations, it will measure really nice. It's just when we're doing some sports, we have sweat on our skin, and it's normal that the detection is not 100% accurate. But while we are resting, yes, and one of the things that it does a great job is detecting my sleeping pattern, which is not easy. I'm not going to record right now, but I will show you an image, something right over here. One of the things that is really important to me, or it gives me the sensation that it measures well, is when I do a small nap, which most smartphones or so-called smartphones will not get. After lunch, if I have I don't know, 20 minutes or 30 minutes, I will do a small nap, and it will give me a boost of energy for the full day, which is really awesome. And it does a great job detecting that. Besides that, I also have a sleeping pattern which is not that usual, and I'll show you on screen. But usually what I do is after dinner I rest for a little bit, and sometimes I fall asleep for a little bit, and then I wake up, I come down here, do some work, and then about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning I go to bed, and I will sleep straight to 5 or 6. So we are talking about 5-6 hours a day, 5-6 hours of sleep per day, something like that, and it's not completely straight. So I've got this pattern which is not easy, and I'm sure that while I'm talking you could see some images right over there. If you haven't paid attention, just go back and see it and you know what I mean. So great job right over here. Battery wise, if you go to the specifications, which I will leave a link down below, they will state 15 days on a regular usage. In my particular case it takes a little bit less. I'm talking about 10 to 12 days because I do a daily jog almost every single day, and I use the GPS, so the GPS will drain a little bit more of the battery. If you don't do daily activity with GPS, then you will get more battery. But to me, 10 days, 12 days is more than acceptable. I can charge it. By the way, the charging mode is wireless. I just need to put it on top and it will charge. I don't need to fiddle around like some older systems that we had. So just great. We will charge for about 2 hours and it will last for 50. I think it's 2 hours. I'm not really sure, but check out on the specifications. Usually what I do is in the afternoon when it's I don't know, 10% or something like that, I just put it there and I'll do a few things. When I return it's 100%, and bam, 10 to 12 days later it will be asking to another recharge. So these are the reasons that the ZEPP is my favorite smartwatch. But the first one is the design, the classic look that I can use with my suits and things like that, and of course at the same time all the technology behind makes this a really nice watch. So today we are talking about 29th of July 2021. The ZEPP is still my favorite smartwatch after 7 months. Hopefully this video was helpful in some way, and if it was, don't forget the usual thumbs up right over there, which is really appreciated on this side of the screen. My name is Roberto, and as always I'll see you guys on the next one.